Chi-Chi's cross-examination coffee. One sip and your mouth won't shut. Ever wonder how Chi-Chi keeps grilling witnesses for 12 freaking hours straight without breaking a sweat? It ain't the law books, kid. It's Chi-Chi's cross-examination coffee. Strong enough to wake the dead, smooth enough to make 'em talk. Features: Truth Serum Roast, dark as a mobster's soul, hot as the courtroom lights. Subpoena Strength, keeps you wired through depositions, trials, and late-night plea deals. Bulletproof Flavor, no cream, no sugar, just justice in a cup. Christian Santilli, I had one mug. Next thing I knew, I was confessing to jaywalking back in '92. Aaron the Brain, too strong. I took a sip, cross-examined my own dog. Lopez, can't lie. This stuff gets results. And that's me saying it. Special offer. Order now, and Chi-Chi throws in the objection mug. It yells overruled every time you put it down. Chi-Chi's cross-examination coffee. Justice served scalding hot.
Mugs, what the fuck you doing in there, you prick?
Bambi's Twisted Tales, Encanto, the House of Shadows. The mountain roads were slick that night, rain coming down like God himself was trying to drown the city. Down in the valley, tucked away where outsiders don't wander, sat a compound called La Casita. On the surface, looked like a miracle. Walls that moved, tiles that danced, windows that opened on their own. People said the house was alive, but those who lived inside, they knew the truth. It wasn't no miracle. It was the heart of a crime dynasty, beaten with secrets, curses, and blood. At the top of the food chain sat Abuela Alma Madrigal. They called her La Jefa. Sharp as a switchblade, pearls strung around her neck like trophies. She wasn't raising kids. She was grooming successors. Every gift this family had, every so-called blessing, was a tool in her arsenal. They didn't call it a family. They called it an empire. Isabella, the golden girl. Roses bloomed when she snapped her fingers. But those vines, they weren't just pretty flowers. They wrapped round throats, covered graves, made blood disappear into the soil. People whispered she was perfect. But perfect is just another word for untouchable. And untouchable people? They're dangerous. Then there was Louisa, bigger than a dump truck, stronger than any guy on the docks. She hauled crates of liquor, tossed cars into rivers, carried bodies like laundry bags. But you look close at her eyes, you saw cracks. She carried everyone's weight till her shoulders were buckling. Pressure ain't just on pipes, kid. It's on hearts, too. And Mirabel? She had nothing. No gift, no racket, no piece of the empire. Just glasses too big for her face, and a knack for asking questions that made people uncomfortable. She was the runt, the oddball, the one Abuela never trusted. But let me tell you something. Sometimes the ones without power are the only ones who see the rot setting in. The Casita itself. It was alive, all right, but it wasn't singing fairy tale songs. It groaned at night. Cracks snaked down the walls like veins. The tiles shivered like they'd seen too much. Every deal cut in blood, every betrayal hidden in whispers. The house carried it, and the house don't lie. It knew the empire was starting to rot. Bruno. Bruno. The uncle they didn't talk about. He saw the future, and nobody likes a man who sees too much. You think they pushed him out? Nah. He pushed himself into the walls, hiding behind plaster and shadows, living with the rats. He was the ghost in the house, hearing every conversation, seeing every betrayal coming before it hit. And he knew the whole fucking empire was gonna collapse. Now, the Madrigals, they held court every Sunday, whole family gathering at the long mahogany table, plates stacked with arepas, wine flowing, candles burning like watchful eyes. Abuela at the head, banging her cane like a judge. One by one, they'd show off their gifts. Peppa, her moods brought storms. When she laughed, sun shined. When she raged, whole block flooded. Dolores could hear a whisper 2 streets away, every rumor, every secret, every deal. Camilo, the shapeshifter, con artist supreme, could be anyone, anywhere, slipping into roles like a grifter slipping into suits. It looked like pride, but what it really was? Fear. Abuela pushing him, squeezing him, making them perform like circus animals. Keep smiling, keep producing, or the family crumbles. She didn't care if they cracked inside. The show had to go on. And then the cracks got louder. Mirabel saw it first. Tiles twitching, walls split like bones snapping. She told Alma, "The house is dying." Alma sneered. "We don't show weakness. We don't talk about cracks. We smile." But you can't fake a smile when the floor's giving out beneath your feet. So Mirabel did something dangerous. She went looking. Down corridors, behind false walls, into places the rest pretended didn't exist. And that's when she found him. Bruno. Skinny, eyes wild, muttering like a man who'd seen too much. Rats crawling round his shoulders like lieutenants. "You can't fix it," he said, voice cracked. "The future's written. The candle dies, the house falls, the empire burns." Brooklyn breathes through shadows. You can hear it in the subway tracks, smell it in the steam rising off the manholes. And standing in the middle of all that weight, Nick Palermo. He wasn't born into an easy name. His father, Frankie Palermo, left behind more enemies than friends, more blood on the sidewalk than ink in the ledger. When Frankie got clipped, Nick learned quick. Brooklyn don't give you mercy, it gives you tests. And every day since, he's been proven he ain't the type to fold. Nick ain't a loudmouth. He's the quiet storm, the one who listens, calculates, then moves when it hurts the most. With his godfather, Goku D'Angelo, whispering wisdom, and his sister Bambi tied to him by blood and fire, Nick's motivation is simple. Keep the family alive, keep the legacy strong. But loyalty, it cuts both ways. And betrayal, it's the tax every Palermo's got to pay. You'll see him out there in the Pine Barrens, shovel in hand, doing what needs to be done when the world's eyes ain't watching. You'll see him sitting in back rooms, staring across the table, deciding who lives and who disappears. Nick Palermo's got the kind of weight you don't measure in muscle, you measure it in resolve. And now, the streets are heating up again. Deals are being cut, alliances tested, and ghosts from the past are crawling back into the light. Brooklyn bloodlines, family is forever, and Palermo, that name don't die easy. Season 2 coming soon. Mirabel didn't believe it. She had fire in her gut. If the family falls, it's 'cause Alma strangled it with her pride. Maybe I can save us. Maybe not. But I ain't letting this end without a fight. The night of the collapse, it was chaos. Abuela calling everyone to the courtyard, screaming about loyalty. Rain pouring from Papa's fury, thunder rattling windows. Luisa's strength buckled, knees shaken. Isabella's roses turned black, thorns cutting her hands. Dolores covered her ears, trying to shut out the storm of voices. And the casita, it roared. Tiles lifted, walls split, rafters crashed. The whole compound was coming down like a mob hit, gone wrong. At the center stood Alma, clutching the candle, knuckles white. "The miracle must be protected," she shrieked, as if yelling could keep it alive. But Mirabel shoved through the chaos, standing eye to eye with her. "You don't protect miracles, Abuela. You strangle them. You turned us into soldiers instead of family. You made us forget who the hell we are." And then, poof, the candles sputtered, died. Silence fell thicker than blood on tile. The house gave one last groan and collapsed into rubble. When the dust settled, there were no powers, no miracles, just broken people standing in ruins. Alma sat in the dirt, pearls cracked, face slack with shock. Isabella bled from her hands. Luisa hunched over, too tired to move. And Mirabel? She stood taller than all of them. For the first time, she wasn't the oddball. She was the only one who saw the truth. Bruno stepped out of the shadows, rats scattering like soldiers retreating. He looked at Mirabel, then at Alma. "It had to happen," he muttered. "No empire lasts forever." But Mirabel shook her head. "The house fell. The gifts are gone. But we're still here, and maybe now we can stop pretending we're gods and just be family." The Madrigals nodded one by one, broken, humbled, but maybe free. Moral of the story. Kid, here's the takeaway. Power dressed up like a miracle is still a fucking shackle. Pride, fear, greed. It don't matter what you call it. If you build your house on control, it'll crack. It'll collapse. Every empire does. What survives ain't the miracles, ain't the gifts. It's the people who strip all that bullshit away and choose loyalty, love, truth, family. Not the kind that makes you perform, but the kind that lets you breathe. And that, paisan, is another one of Bambi's twisted tales. Ain't no Disney fantasy here. We serve 'em raw, with grit, slang, and scars. If you want more stories twisted darker than a mob confession at 3 a.m., you know where to go. The Pizzaverse. Subscribe, smash that like, ring the bell, or you'll end up hiding in Bruno's walls with nothing but rats for company. Thanks. Thanks for watching.